Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I am so stoked for today's video. It is about 7 o'clock right now. Got home from work, had a busy day, so had to crack an innie. But this evening, I wanted to film a vlog, and actually, we have something we're gonna unbox that relates to that here very shortly. So real quick, a couple updates for the channel here. Number one, I think this is the first look for you guys with the lab neon sign that I got here in my office. I'm so stoked on how that turned out. If you guys follow me over on Instagram, you guys know that I always talk about I'm in the lab when I'm here in my office creating. So I kind of just wanted something to kind of mark that. And I absolutely love how it turned out in the office. And it's a cool little backlight whenever I'm filming videos here in my office. Another thing is we are entering NBA playoff time, which I'm a huge NBA guy, big LeBron fan, so I want to see him win another championship, but I love having games up in my office just when I'm sitting here working in the evenings. Let me know down in the comments below if anyone else here is big into the NBA. And then another thing I'm finishing up right now, which actually by the time you guys are watching the current video you're watching, I think this video will already be out, and that is my vlog talking about Sony Camera Camp. I'm beyond grateful that Sony personally invited me out to that event. It was everything that I wanted it to be, and it's something that I honestly need to cover in another video, but it's part of the reason why I switched to Sony a couple years ago. It's something I wanted to be part of, and it's something that just organically happened with my own content, and thanks to all you guys. It was just one of the coolest experiences ever, so definitely go check out that vlog if you haven't yet. So let's talk a little bit about short form vertical content. Now, actually at Sony Camera Camp, it's interesting because most people there knew me from my short form vertical content, all the reels I make over on Instagram, YouTube Shorts, TikToks, etc. And I guess I've always personally thought of myself as a long form creator first. I think just because I've been doing YouTube for longer, but I actually just got something in that's going to help me out with vertical content. Let me show you guys what we got. Let me move this Leica out of the way here, which by the way, it seems like you guys are pretty hyped about that camera. It's a big conversation starter. Shout out to Amazon for the 1-day shipping. Got a little Tiffin Pro Mist filter. I absolutely love a Pro Mist filter. And in case you weren't aware, I film all of my content with a 1/8 black Pro Mist. It's what's on the camera right now. So you might be wondering, why do I have a second one? Well, that's right. We got a new lens. Oh, totally dropped that thing. All right, so this is the Sony 20mm 1.8 lens. Super excited to have this. All right, so unboxing experience, pretty simple. We just got the lens in here. Comes in a nice little bag. We got the lens hood inside if you need that. And then there it is, this tiny little lens. This thing is so small. It is tiny compared to the 16-35 that I'm filming on right now. Night and day difference. Now this lens is super popular for creators, and it's kind of obvious as to why. Like I mentioned, it's really small and lightweight, which is a huge win for creators, especially people on the go. This lens is an f1.8, which gives you that beautiful bokeh behind your subject. It looks awesome for both photos and honestly video as well. And the 20mm is wide enough that you could vlog with it if you wanted just kind of like an all-in-one lens. Now, I always, before I take the lens cap off on my new lenses, I always try to cover it with something. So usually I'll use a Pro Mist, like I was mentioning, because I use a Pro Mist all the time. Or if I don't use a Pro Mist at the time, or an ND filter, I'll put a UV filter on my lens just to protect the front of it, because lenses are expensive. A UV filter really doesn't affect your image quality that much. They're super cheap, and it's kind of just like a cheap insurance for your lens. I myself, though, as I mentioned, love the Pro Mist, so I'm gonna throw that on this before we even use it. I can throw on the Pro Mist. Now that front of that lens is protected. So actually, let me throw this lens on the FX3 right now. We'll see how it looks. So yeah, this is now on the 20mm. This is at 1.8, so probably a little bit more separation from myself in the background. But this lens is tiny. I'm so used to rocking this huge 16-35 f2.8 lens, which is beautiful. It's just giant and kind of heavy. Let's do a little vlog test here, okay? Because yeah, obviously I like vlogging. I like being able to have my camera handheld and all that. And yeah, this is at f1.8. I got long arms, but it is plenty wide enough to vlog with this lens if I actually wanted to. But let's talk about the true reason why I picked up this lens. All right, so the other day I was down the rabbit hole of TikTok, and I was trying to just kind of get inspired and kind of motivated to go create again. I honestly have fallen in love with creating short form vertical content. I've been cranking out a ton of that over on Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, TikTok. It's kind of like a nice change of pace, especially compared to YouTube. I think that kind of complements it well, just because it's nice to be able to create something quickly. You know, the amount of time that it can take you to film something can be as little as 10 minutes sometimes, and it has the potential to get in front of so many people. But you know, I've put out hundreds of pieces of short form vertical content, so I kind of have run into this crossroads now of where I'm just want to switch things up. I'm trying to figure out a new style. I kind of just want to figure out the best way to kind of keep this thing rolling and figure out, you know, just a new way to create this content. Wow, okay, this blue light that is usually my accent behind me is crazy. Recently, as you guys know, I sold my Sony a7 IV. I currently am filming on the Sony FX3, and I picked up the Leica Q2, which this camera is an absolute beast. I've obviously dropped some content about it on my channel. Definitely go check it out if you haven't yet. But it's a super cool camera, super unique, but it's a little specialized. Obviously, I'm not doing a bunch of video content with this. I'm actually never gonna shoot video with this. This is kind of my run and gun, point and shoot camera for photos when I'm on the go and I want something that's small, easy, and portable. Now, something that I preach about on this channel often is you want to make it as easy as possible to create content. That's why I'm a huge advocate about having a space to create. Obviously, I love my home office here. A lot of my content is around my space. And I've kind of quickly realized that I need a second camera for my vertical content. Sometimes, obviously, I need multiple angles, but also I want to separate it and kind of have a camera that is meant for long form stuff. Maybe it's rigged up and kind of stationary. And then also I have this idea to kind of make a short form vertical content camera and perfect that, which is a huge reason why I picked up this 20mm lens, because I need a second lens. So I actually had this right here already. It's called the Elgato desk mount. I think really you can use it for anything. It could be lighting gear, camera gear, microphones, whatever. So I decided to kind of mount my camera right there on that pole and see how that looked. So the other night I rigged up my camera. I put the FX3 on an L bracket. I put it on top of this stand, and I filmed a test clip, which I threw up on Instagram and asked for your guys' thoughts. I filmed it on the FX3 with the 16-35. I'll play it right here in this video so you guys can kind of get some context. This might be my favorite angle yet. This is all the way out at 16, which I think shows off the office nicely. This is all the way in at 35, maybe a little too tight. Right in here is kind of like the 24mm, which might be the sweet spot. I think I might lower it a couple inches, but this might be the new angle for the setup, or at least for some of my content. Let me know your thoughts below. So I have this idea in my head to build this perfect vertical camera setup. I mean, it might always be evolving, but that's at least what I have in my head. So I want to have a camera rigged up on my desk that is kind of just a easy plug and play camera that I can film content whenever an idea sparks or whenever I get inspired to create something. So the most feedback I got from all the comments on that video was people thought the sweet spot for the angle was kind of between the 16-24 range, which actually is perfect for the 20mm because that kind of falls right in between. The other feedback I got was the mount is a little too high. The camera was too high of an angle, which I totally agree with. So I actually have another one on the way. It's not in quite yet, which by the way, the camera isn't going to live there 24/7. Obviously, when I'm shooting other short form vertical stuff, I'm going to take it on the go or take it around the office or my apartment, wherever. I want to start doing a lot more day in the life type of content. Let me know if you guys want to see more of that. But something that is probably clearly missing here, because I mentioned I want to have a second camera, is the fact that I need to get a second camera for this. Yo, real quick, future Johnny here. So I actually filmed this video a couple weeks back, and since then my camera shipped that I ordered and it's now here. So I figured I might as well just include this in this vlog as well. But I picked up the Sony ZV-E1. This is the same exact camera that I was testing out at Sony Camera Camp that I got lended to early. And I like this camera so much, I got one for myself. So this is gonna be my new B camera, my camera that is gonna be for all this vertical content. And the Sony ZV-E1 is essentially a mini a7S III. It has the same exact sensor. It's in a smaller form factor. It has AI features, and it's also over $1,000 cheaper. So $2,200 for this is actually a really great deal if you really get into the nitty gritty of the camera. Some people are a little afraid of some overheating. The way I plan to use it, I don't think I'm gonna have any issues, but plenty more content on this camera to come and definitely more testing. But this is gonna be that vertical setup. The ZV-E1 and that 20mm, this thing is tiny. It really is small. But something I cannot drive home enough is the fact that if you are creating content like myself in your free time, on your weekends, or maybe it's your full-time gig, every little thing that you can do to make it just that much easier for you to hit record or take a picture or just flat out create is going to help you so much. If every single time you need to do something, you have to take it out of the closet, you have to set up a tripod, you have to build a light, you have to set everything up, it is just one more barrier for you to think about every time you want to create. So I have have a lot of things pretty dialed in and optimized is the way I kind of look at it. But something as simple as just having a new angle in my office here and helps to inspire me so much to just create new content. And I highly suggest for you guys to try to do the same for your own workflow. Real talk, living in Chicago, when they bring the food literally to your door is beyond dangerous. Especially on nights like tonight when I'm just have a bunch of work to do. Obviously I'm filming, editing videos later. It's just nice. I can have a meal delivered straight to my door. They almost make it too easy. I actually think I got this same exact meal in another vlog. I'm kind of a creature by habit. I have like a few things I order all the time. This is the sweet green hot honey chicken plate. It's basically like quinoa, hot chicken, some almonds. It's super healthy, super good. Macros are killer too. So you're looking at what the rest of my evening is going to be. So gonna eat this, gonna get back to editing that Sony camera camp vlog. But please let me know your guys' thoughts on kind of the new vertical camera setup. Do you think it's a good idea? Do you think there's ways to improve it? We'd love to hear your guys' thoughts down below. I tried to do the one camera setup, quickly learned I need more than one for my type of content that I create and especially film. But guys, that's gonna be it for me in today's video. If you haven't yet, be sure to drop this video a thumbs up. If you're new around here, consider subscribing. It helps out me and the channel more than you can even imagine. Be sure to go follow me over on Instagram too if you guys want to stay up to date with me on a daily basis. I'm crazy active over there, and I will catch you guys in the next video very, very soon. Peace, guys.